Cinderella story, out of nowhere, a former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion. It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
Tell them to go out there with all they got and win just one for the Gipper.
We have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
Time for Full Court Press with Connor. He has hot takes from In the Paint, tough picks from the top of the key, and the best scoops on the NBA from downtown.
Love having him on the program, talking all things NBA. Connor, how you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm doing well. We are in the thick of the NBA playoffs now, and I've been waiting for this for about 11 months. So, well, no, it couldn't be that.
It's really close.
6 months since it ended last time.
Yeah. Strange, because it proves a lot of my points. I'm excited about talking with you because it proves a lot of my points about basketball.
You're excited about that.
And then just the marketing of some of this is driving me nuts as well. So we'll discuss. Got to go back because we haven't talked since this thing started. Everything started on Saturday last week. Bucks and Pacers. Pacers win this. I think the Bucks are going to give them a run, but the Pacers seem to be peaking at the right time. Am I wrong? I mean, they just seem to have their stuff together.
Well, that, and I think they clearly seem more well-rounded. Overall, I also agree. I thought that Giannis and then eventually Damian Lillard would come in and kind of outshine the Pacers, and so far that hasn't happened.
Yeah. On the other hand, then the Nuggets and the Clippers, is going to be a great series. And again, I thought the Clippers were peaking at the right time, and Nuggets fired their coach, and they're on all the turmoil. I actually picked the Clippers for the upset, but the Nuggets won that first game, 112-110. Great ball game to watch.
Yeah, in overtime. Yeah, that was a great ball game. Kawhi Leonard playing well. James Harden actually playing pretty well. And Nikola Jokic seemingly still not having much support from his supporting cast. So, he still is dazzling and unbelievable. But that is going to be, I think, the most competitive series probably across the whole league.
Yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. Knicks down the Pistons. I don't think I was shocked by that. I picked them for the first round win. Although the Pistons are a good quality team. They're young and covers. They get one good piece in there. I think they're going to be something to contend with.
Yeah, no, I agree. With Brunson and Cat, they've got some of those pieces. They're definitely gritty, and the Knicks have a gritty culture. They're probably missing one piece, like you said, to really jump into that top kind of bracket of teams in the East.
Yeah. All right. And then we had the Timberwolves and the Lakers start out late night game, but I was able to watch it. It was Saturday. It didn't go the way I thought it would go. I really did think that the Lakers on that game were going to take us the first game at home. I really thought that Doncic had to prove who he was in L.A., and this is, LeBron's swan song possibly for his career. But Minnesota shoots 50% from threes. The Naz Reid DiVincenzo effect off the bench. That was a great game for Minnesota, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. They knocked the socks off the Lakers. It was like the Lakers weren't ready to play. Now, that being said, I think Luka had 31 or 34 points. Luka Doncic,
but he had one assist. He had one assist, and that was the issue.
He's much more. He's more used to 30 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, or 9 rebounds, 8 assists. And like that, like you said, the rest of the team did not come to play. LeBron looked horrible. Possibly his worst game in the playoffs in 10 years. I think it was his lowest assist total. I think he had 4 in a playoff game since 2014. So he looked sluggish. And the Timberwolves showed up and they knocked the absolute socks off the Lakers.
It surprised me. I'm still called the Lakers in 6, but now it could go to 7. That is anybody's game. But moving on to the Sunday's game, this is where they so mess up the NBA. So the Thunder and the Grizzlies go on. I'm sitting in the garage having a cigar. Going to be a great day. Basketball all day. Twins are on at the same time. Twins are being blown out. I turn them off, turn the Grizzlies on. They lose by 51. Is there ever been a worse NBA basketball game than losing by 51 in a playoff?
I think the record was 57 or 54.
Oh, so
58. It might be 58. There might have been 1 or 2 games that were objectively worse, but no, but that was top 3 worst, bottom 3 worst games.
A horrible television, so no one was watching. Then they go to the Celtics against the Magic. Again, another whatever seeds those are.
2 2-7.
103-86, a 17-point game. It wasn't even that close. Celtics had that in hand.
No.
And we'll talk more about them. Then the Cavaliers take on the Heat, an 8-under team. This is my point with this thing. You have a team that was 8 under 500, the Heat. They get in the 10th spot. They win a couple of games against other crap teams, and now they show up against the Cavaliers. I don't even think the Cavaliers tried, and they beat them by 21.
Yeah.
You watch the game. It was like, we'll go score. You go score this time. You go score this time. They weren't even playing. It was like a high school team taking on the 6th grade team, in a scrimmage just to have some fun and teach the kids how to play. Am I lying? That game is boring.
Yeah, no, Cleveland is going to absolutely get the broom out, as they say in that series. It's not competitive at all.
No, but then the game of the week, which has to start at like 12:35 midnight or some craziness, is the Warriors and the Rockets. It was the best game of the day, and I didn't get to watch the end of it. Yeah. Your Warriors stepped it up. I thought the first couple quarters it was pretty tight. It's going to be a thing. Get out the way. I think the Warriors are peaking. Your thoughts?
I think so too. That we're going to see here. I think they play again tonight, I believe. And we'll see if Houston can kind of step back in and throw another punch and kind of even the series. Splitting in Houston, though, is exactly what the Warriors would have wanted to do. If they can get 2, then I think the series is pretty close to over. But I'm not overly surprised. We talked about this, Al. I called them in 7 because, they have that talent and they have the experience. And Houston had a better record and, has the youth and some energy, and they're certainly scrappy. They definitely are beating them on the boards. But there's just certain times where certain players show up and get it done. And I think this is going to be one of those times.
Yeah, it sure looks like it. It really does. Let's do this. Let's go to break early. That's the first 2 days of ball. The next 2 days coming up, we'll talk about that, and then the games coming forward. We got them Connor's Full Court Press on the Al Travis Show.
Dust from livestock buildings can be harmful to your animals and to you. Coughing animals can lead to costly vet visits and other serious health problems. Now there's an environmentally safe solution for your dust problems. It's called DustLock. DustLock can control the dust all summer long with just one application. Protect your animals and your health with DustLock. Learn more at dustlock.com.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul, but who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
talk amongst friends. The Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
And we've got him, Connor's Full Court Press, talking all things NBA. So, Con, we get to the Monday night games, and this is kind of separators, right? This could make these everything we talked about. What I mean, so the Pistons, who get knocked by the Knicks in the first round, the first game, come back and say, no, we'll be there. Great game. Yep. They win 100-94 to tie that up. And you're like, there's a series. And the same thing with the Clippers overtaking the Nuggets, who won in overtime, and they're 105-102. I want to see Wednesday's games. I want to watch these two teams. How cool is that? Your thoughts on either of those games?
That is sort of, somewhat the nature of those middle seeded, matchups. But it's good to see teams that are playing at the other team's arena. So these teams that are visitors for the first part of the round, the lower seed or the higher seeded teams, it's good to see them actually have a punch back and not just fold and say, okay, we're going to lose 2 in Denver. We're going to lose 2 in New York. They're actually scrapping for it. So I think those series are going to be very competitive.
And again, that's why I'm seeing the hype, because it's this yin and your yang. So you have those 4 teams that are literally just battling it out. Then you get back to the next games, yesterday's games, the Pacers and the Bucks. I'm sorry, they're the Pacers again, taking the Bucks out. Now it was a much better game. Is Giannis going to see a 4 and out? Is one of the best ball players? You're shaking your head. Is he seeing a 4 and out?
It's hard to say with them going back to Milwaukee, but what I will say is this has not been close. Like I said, it turns out Giannis is exactly who he is, but nobody else wants to play basketball on the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pacers had all of their starters in double figures plus a guy on the bench, and it was basically just Giannis for the Bucks. They had a couple of other players in double figures. Damian Lillard came back out of injury, looked horrible. Terrible. Yeah. Need him to score 30 points a game, and maybe he doesn't have it anymore, but really, really bad. The second best player for Milwaukee was Bobby Portis off the bench, and he had a really good game. But everybody else, what are we doing? So I think that the Pacers look way better, heads and tails better than the Bucks right now. We'll see what happens when they go back to Milwaukee. Maybe that's what they need, and maybe we'll find ourselves at 7 games, but not looking good for Milwaukee right now.
Saddest job in the world was being the announcers for the Thunder's Grizzlies. All they could say after a 51-point trouncing is how the Grizzlies were hanging in there. That was only a 3-point loss that quarter. Those poor announcers, that game was nothing. The Thunder, I don't even know, they put sneakers on. I think they played barefoot. They didn't need it. There's nothing these Grizzlies can do, right? It's 4-0.
They beat them by 15 in the first quarter. Only 3 the second one, like you said, Al. The
poor announcer guys. The poor announcers guys. Well, they won the third quarter by 7. They really got and they lose by 19. It was nothing of a ball game. I'm sorry. Just
the Grizzlies are outclassed, and this is probably the most outclassed that a team is in the entire playoffs.
Okay. To take a coach from the Minnesota Vikings who said, they are who we think they are. The Lakers were not going to take that from these little snotty Minnesota Timberwolves last night.
Right.
That was a rough a game as I've watched. Oh, my God. Naz Reid, I want him in a bar fight. I want him with me because he's a big man who is taking people down. DiVincenzo. Shuck to the head.
Reggie Miller, I'm pretty sure was who was announcing that game on TNT last night, and he said second quarter, end of the first quarter, he's like, something is about to happen between these two teams. These guys, someone's going to throw hands because, it was foul here. The refs did a pretty good job of kind of reining it in, but those players were, and even the stuff that wasn't called, watching McDaniels play against, especially Austin Reeves, which I thought was interesting. They apparently have some beef. Just dragging his jersey, wouldn't let him run anywhere. Really bullying him. So, that is, the Lakers felt that Minnesota came out in that first game and were very physical, and the Lakers weren't. And they said they were going to match it. And I think they clearly did. Obviously, the game ended not nearly as bad as it was. I think the Wolves were down 21 or 22 at one point.
Yep.
And, they end up losing by 9. So they kind of came back at the end, but to come back to Minnesota, I think the atmosphere up here in Minneapolis is going to be unbelievable, and hopefully we can get one more and take a series lead and really get the Lakers on their skates. But best player in the series is clearly Luka Doncic, followed probably by Ant, and then somehow followed by a 40-year-old LeBron James. So
is it a coaching thing? You know they're coming back and they're going to play hard. There's no way Lakers are going to lose 2 at home. This is the whole NBA wants to lay. They're going to come back hard. I'll tell you what, I give Julius Randle props. If he hadn't done what he was doing to keep us in the game until Edwards woke the heck up, this was going to be a complete runaway. 2 players in double figures for the Timberwolves. Their starting 5, I believe, were all in double figures. I mean, what I'm saying? The difference was amazing, and if it wasn't for Randall, this would have been a runaway freight train. I give him credit. But where's McDaniels? What did he have? 8 points. Go be 6. None
He
for
was
Conley.
bullying Austin Reeves. I think there's a couple of things. It's interesting how streaky Ant seems. And he's seemed that way as long as he's played, but he does seem to kind of disappear, and then all of a sudden he has 20 points in a quarter. So he's got to show up from the jump. We were shooting 23% from the field or something at the beginning.
What?
You can accredit that to the good defense a little bit, but that's just some of that's fluky. Some of that is bad shot choice. I mean, but you're not going to win. And then the Lakers are shooting 60% on the other side, and that's where this huge divide happened. I think Minnesota seemed a little bit amped up, and then almost came off the sugar high. Kind of crashed, and almost it wasn't like they were ready to play at all. So this is going to be an ebbs and flow series. I'm hoping this doesn't kind of cascade into the Timberwolves folding and we go to 5 games and that's it. I'm hoping that they come back and punch back. And at least we can, tire the Lakers out for the Warriors next round.
What we can expect is the Lakers just now have to win one in Minnesota, right? Then they get the home field advantage back. They can steal that back with a win. I would watch out on whatever game we play Friday night. I would watch out because I think that's the game they have a better chance at. We're thinking home field advantage is going to do it. The crowd's going to go crazy. I think that's where they could come in, and especially in that first quarter, knocking the teeth.
Oh.
So I think we got to watch it, but you're absolutely correct. Ant, when he wants to play, can beat anybody. Before he woke up yesterday, though, he was John. He was just absolutely in everybody's ear, and especially the refs. They got to stop that crap. And he wasn't playing ball. I don't know what you do as a coach. You say, guys, you can do it's a physical game, but it's a basketball game. And they played physical, but they didn't play basketball. And how do you get that in their heads?
He actually was having conversations apparently the entire game with LeBron and joking around. And, that is not the Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant mentality that we kind of pretended he had last year in the playoffs. I mean, he's a jokey guy. He always has been, but at a certain point, when you're down 20, you better put on the killer instinct and say, okay, LeBron, we can have wine after the game, but I'm going to beat you first. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of talking. I think we might have the 2 most chirp at the refs players in the entire league, and Luka and Ant playing each other. So I wouldn't want to be the refs in this series personally.
And then 2 things to talk about just real quickly. The idea of the NBA and what they're doing. The Bucks-Pacers game, they put on NBA TV. Had to pay for it to go watch it. There was a game worth watching. They put the Grizzlies and Thunders on before the Timberwolves game. No one's watching the Grizzlies Thunder. TNT, everyone tuned out. And then you start the Timberwolves game at 9 o'clock. You tell me anyone on the East Coast, half the country did not see that second half. What is the NBA thinking? We don't care. It's LA. We just want them at 7 o'clock for their prime time. Nothing else matters. It was terrible setup for television.
I do think there's something to be said, and I think the NBA is making a lot of their decisions based off of how big the markets are. I think that's completely true. They figure they're gonna get a couple million people watching LA. They figure they might get a couple million people watching combined in Oklahoma City and Memphis, or even Bucks Pacers. To be honest, I mean, I do think that there is a bias towards the big market teams.
I get it, but if you're in the playoffs, guys like us, we're going to watch as many games as we can. This could be good. You put the crappiest game on at primetime, Grizzlies Thunder, and you don't make the Lakers play at, 5 o'clock their time. Yep, people got to get off work, watch it, but they can watch. Now people in New York, because that's 8 o'clock game for them, they can watch. Everybody can see a good ball game. NBA, I think they're just doing it wrong. I'm sorry. It's just horrible. And this
is your version of getting rid of daylight savings.
Amen.
Everything should be Central Time everywhere. It should always be Central. It should always be Central Time, no matter what time.
Across the world, why do we got 24 zones? No one likes this thing. You're flying in a plane.
Time.
Thank you. One time for everybody. I got to fly. We're out of time. Appreciate you, Connor. Get you back next week. We'll have more to talk about. Connor, don't laugh. Oh, we'll be back.
Just because it's pitch black at 2 in the afternoon in China doesn't matter. It's Central Time.
Yes, because in China, then they would open their stores at 5 in the morning. You go there and get used to the customs, but your biological clock would be the same because it's always the same time.
I don't think that. Okay.
That's how that works. I'm almost sure. We'll be back. Stop laughing at me.